Hello, MASL. Hello, lovers of indoor soccer. And of course, hello to our Empire Armada. Welcome to episode 45 of Striking Fury, the official podcast for your Empire Strikers. My name is Christian Philly Phileman, your play-by-play commentator and podcast host. And I am with my compadres in communications, the lovely and the lethal
Amanda, the Panda Phileman, and I am so excited with a belly full of margarita. Does that even work?
No.
Okay, well then I guess I'll just be fine with my glass of wine. Hello, beautiful people. Actually, they can see it now and they know I'm not lying. Because, we'll get into that in just a minute. Dr. Jonathan Reimer, how is it going on the other side of the valley tonight?
I am frisky with whiskey. Happy to be here with you all. Sipping on a beautiful 1999 signatory single cask bottling of some Glen Ross Highland Speyside here, which is quite lovely, I must say. Not as lovely, Billy? However, as my two co-hosts.
I'm feeling slow with H2O. You guys are having way more fun than I am. I am dehydrated. I went to the gym earlier, so I figured I would get a little water. So that's how we're all doing. And as you can see, or in some cases hear, in most cases actually here, we're trying something completely different today. Of course, we're still doing the audio for the podcast. So if you're on Spotify, iHeart, or Apple, nothing is different to you. But now we're trying to go visual, and you're going to get to see more of Philly Panda and the Doctor, whether you like it or not, on the YouTubes. That's right. So just trying to figure this out, trying to get ourselves out there into more platforms. And hopefully this is a good experiment. But I'm looking forward to it. And I want to give a shout out to the lethal one, Panda, because she did the StreamYard. She's putting this together. Normally, I'd be the one taking care of the podcast and the audio stuff. I've never been a visual kind of a guy. Auditory is where it gets me, but
yeah, let's be honest. Nobody wants to look at you or me, Philly. Yeah. I mean, that's not what we're selling here.
She's the star.
I clearly need to redo my background. As many of you know, I host an LAFC podcast and have done some work on television for LAFC, just like Philly, not just like Philly. Philly's much more involved in the television side of things. But this is my backdrop from my BBC interview that I did for the arrival of Gareth Bale to LAFC, and I have not had a chance to redo it MASL wise. So my apologies, my background's not set up. Maybe I could just like stick an MASL ball back here.
Well,
it slipped.
I love that. Well, but you are, look, I got a closet behind us with an Ontario Fury scarf and several other scarves from the MASL behind Panda, because flip the camera around, that's how I do the insider show. But one thing that these people that are part of the Empire Armada and indoor soccer at MASL get to see is we got some dope swag, my man. We got the hoodies, we got the hats, you've got the
I haven't put mine on yet.
You've got the wine.
I will put mine on next time. I promise it. We were just getting ready. I was trying to get all of this set up so that you guys could see our wonderful, amazing, beautiful faces. I just didn't have time to like throw a sweatshirt over my head. Like I actually brush my hair, so I had to leave it like that.
Well, you're looking good, kid. You're looking good. Your lipstick matches the color of our team, kind of.
It's purple.
Philly and I did not, by the way, coordinate our outfits. We just conveniently ended up wearing the exact same thing today.
Yeah, that's awesome. We should do a podcast together or something like that. What do you think?
Right? Yeah.
Right.
I actually wore this all day. I didn't just put this on for the show. I want to let you know. I wore this to work today because it was freezing here in Los Angeles. It dropped like well below California freezing. I think it was in the 50s. I almost died.
I bet you everybody in Utica and Baltimore has so many kind words to say to you right now.
Absolutely not. They're saying all the F words.
all the F words indeed. And remember, we're still playing this game. If you do lose. If you do use the F word that begins with F and ends in Y, it's $5. And we still need to donate to that Josh Strong GoFundMe, but we'll talk about that more later. As you can see,
we got a live update though. If you want a live update on the table as far as where the swear jar is at for folks.
Oh,
Billy,
I'm really dying to know.
Billy, you are currently in for $35.
Am I leading this trio?
I mean, you do talk the most.
She's not wrong.
Makes sense.
Panda, you are now the caboose at $15. And after our last broadcast, in which I believe I had 2 mistakes. I am now up to $25. So I'm catching up with you, Philly.
Well, I mean, in reality, since we live in California is what they call a community property state. So what's mine's in hers and what's hers is mine, but that's not the way she sees it. I'm still on the hook for her 15.
Sorry, his F words are his F words, not mine.
Yeah. All right. As you notice, though, she's rocking the green, and that's going to be very appropriate because we're going to be doing a preview of the upcoming match this weekend against Dallas. But before we do that, we want to let you know exactly what's going to be on the show. So we're only going to cover a couple of things because we only have one game to do. We tried that 3-fer, and that was an awful lot of info. And quite frankly, we created a podcast that was a lot longer than we would have liked.
No, thanks.
So on today's show, we're going to keep it brief. We're going to give you an Empire Jets update. We're going to briefly talk to you about who just came back again. Then we're going to preview the match against the Baltimore Blast. And then not preview. We're going to review is what I meant to say. And then we're going to preview the weekend series versus the Dallas Sidekicks. So before I do a flyby with the Jets, do you guys?
It's going to be we're going to call this segment a flyover with the Jets.
I like it. Okay, cool.
All right.
Before we get into that.
That's clever.
I know, right? I thought so.
Not just a hat rack, my friend.
I'm firing on all cylinders tonight, baby.
This works. That's not quite right, people.
That was hollow. I heard echoes.
I'm like the green banana that you buy at the supermarket a week before it's any good. Anyway, so before we get into the things, you guys have anything you want to add at all to anything? Anything at all?
Ooh, I went to hand therapy for the first time today. That was fun.
Did you know?
Oh, Philly, congratulations.
No.
Why do you think I'm so jovial and happy?
Nope. Anyways, no. I mean, that was kind of weird and exciting, though. I mean, to be able to. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. This is going to go downhill real fast, but it was just exciting to be able to take another step in the right direction to, hopefully getting back to normal and not having this crazy brace on anymore. But it is for now, unless I'm doing my hand exercises.
Bionic Panda over here. I mean, does that thing shoot out webs? It looks like something Spider-Man would have underneath his costume. It really does look like that. It really does.
What's been up with you, Jonathan?
I don't want to hear about sticky stuff coming out of her wrist. Let's just leave that.
Oh, family friendly. We got to put a PG-13 rating on.
You got to womp that with the buttons over there, buddy.
No, I mean that was a superhero reference. Just like just like Superman on our team. It's a superhero tie-in. It's okay. It's fine. We're good. I'm excited for this weekend. I saw the kit drop, so we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes here. Other than that, I've been at work every day since I'm getting ready to leave for back-to-back trips south of the border here. One recreationally and one with the Strikers, which we're going to touch on here in a minute. But other than that, just been slinging booze today. No Steven Spielberg sightings today, unfortunately. But aside from that, just holding it down.
Is he a nice guy?
Super nice. In fact, I would say, for those of you who don't know, I work with a lot of famous people, and 99% of them.
Billy and the Panda. I know.
I mean, two of the most famous people in my life right here. 99% of them are sweet, kind, wonderful human beings. This stigma that rock stars and movie stars are a bunch of rude people is really inaccurate in my experience, having dealt with a pretty broad cross-section of people in the industry. They're usually all absolutely swimmingly nice people, with rare exception. I would say that the average customer walking in off the street that's not famous is more likely to be rude than the famous person, though.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, they're probably just angry at the fact that they live out here and they're not famous yet, most of them. So it kind of makes sense. But I want to see The Fabelmans, which is Steven Spielberg's movie that just came out about his life. So I was kind of curious just to know what he was kind of like in person, because I heard it was a really good movie. But anyways.
We said we give you a short episode, and it's been almost 10 minutes of fluff.
I mean, that's normal. 10 minutes of warm up of like getting the vocal cords ready. Because
New York, the Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
How now, Brown Cow? You know what? All right, let's go for it. Let's do a little flyover with the Jets, and let's just talk about what happened with them recently. Now, I know that they were undefeated going into their matchup with Rio Grande Valley Barracudas, who are now a direct affiliate. I know. Hold on.
Or better yet, the buzzsaw they ran into was more like sounds.
Well, they are now a direct affiliate of the Monterey Flash. So let's get into. Why don't you break it down? What happened with them recently, if you don't mind?
Well, real quick, going into this game, the Jets were on a 3-game winning streak, having beaten Turlock, whomping Turlock 15-5, and beating the defending M2 champions, Sockers 2. It's nice that somebody within our organization is beating the Sockers. Perhaps it'll be us one day. Fingers crossed. I know we're on a 4 out of 5 game winning streak. I like it. But unfortunately, the Jets ran into a Barracuda buzzsaw because they ended up losing 7-1 at the Upland Sports Center. Caceres was the what's that?
It was never close.
No, not close. Not close at all. Caceres, the only goal scorer. Clayson DeLima played 3 quarters. Aaron Servin played the 1 quarter, and we didn't score until the 4th quarter. When they did, it was 6-1. And the Jets head on the road to play in a place that's, well, rather savage. And what we mean by that is Corner Sports Arena, where they're going to go out and tango with Chihuahua Savage 2, and then they're off to Brownsville, Texas to play the Rio Grande Valley Barracudas. So
Again.
So good luck to our Empire Jets. It's not going to be an easy contest. But either way, if they could come out with a couple of points there, that speaks volumes. This is a team that is exciting to watch, and they're a lot of fun. Good luck to our Jets. Now,
we did kill a penalty in that game. I mean, for a developmental game, I have to appreciate the fact that, we at least killed our penalty. Of course, we didn't score on either of our power plays. So, look, it's a goldfish game. Just blink and let's move on.
Right. Moving on.
Yeah, speaking of which, we saw those images for Ted Lasso season 3. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
That will be fun.
What do you think about like Nate the Villain?
I mean, he represents West Ham, and I kind of like West Ham. And Doctor, I'm telling you got to watch this on Apple TV. You got to watch the Super League documentary because it might question your allegiance. I grew up since I was 12 years old supporting Manchester United, but after watching the Super League thing, I'm questioning my my loyalties. The only reason I bring that up,
you can always come over and be an Arsenal fan with Panda and I. We're fine. We're fine.
Really?
Jimmy Nordberg would love that.
FYI, Arsenal was the first team with an American owner who pulled themselves out of the Super League. So, hey, I will take that kind of victory and anything over your Red Army, Dreadful Army, whatever they are.
Well, the point is,
we play you this weekend, by the way.
Yeah. It's the Philemon Reimer derby, I guess you can call it.
Woo!
I'm gonna be excited about it. I mean, Nate's obviously the gaffer at West Ham, and that'll be fun.
Should we put a little wager on this weekend's game for the fans here?
Well, no, I don't know if I'm wagering with you because last time I did that, I ended up having to sing "I'm a Little Teapot" wearing an Arsenal jersey.
It's still one of the greatest moments in social media history. Folks, you can, by all means, at Boozology on all your social media platforms, you can go back and find Philly singing "I'm a Little Teapot" multiple times. I think I posted it, at least 5. And you can find it. And it is comedic gold. One of these days, we got to troll you and get it on a broadcast. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Whatever.
Find the handle. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth looking for.
No, it's not. I'm sure you guys will. I'm sure now that Panda's become a guru with this, she's going to find the clip and post it. Or maybe
I'm going to slip it in there when he's not looking. Yeah.
Whatever.
Join my dozen of followers and enjoy it.
So before we get into segment 2, let's get a nice round of. And the reason I'm applauding is because guess who's back?
Shady?
Back again? My cone's back. Tell
Back
a friend.
again.
Okay, we should know better than to sing. It's not good. Anyways, my cone is back. And if you guys didn't know, Mycon was in Iowa. He was playing for the M2 team along with a few members of the Florida Tropics who were also, I think, awaiting their visas. The team he was on was the Iowa Demon Hawks. And at the time of this recording, January 18th, the Demon Hawks were 4-1-1. And in the 3 games that he played in, Mycon made an impact. He had 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. And he also led the team in penalty minutes.
I have a question.
I like that.
What is a demon hawk?
It's a possessed hawk.
Does it look like a chicken hawk?
It's a bird of prey that is possessed. It's a satanic hawk.
Metal.
Did you just
I like
make
it.
that up?
Yeah, of course. I'm just kind of going along with it.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure
I've
somebody's
always wondered, like, is a demon hawk a real thing, or is it really just, a possessed raptor, like, swooping in on souls?
A possessed raptors are extinct, my friend.
a demon
No,
hawk
no.
is a Jeep.
Raptor,
Oh.
Philly, not a velociraptor, but raptor is the official terminology in the avian world for a bird of prey.
For those of you who out there who watch the show Friends, Reimer, you are officially now Ross Geller. You are the doctor. It actually makes
That
quite
makes
good
sense. He has
oh
a
my gosh.
PhD.
Hold on. Yeah.
We did it. Hey.
So, a fun fact about the doctor: as a child, I worked with a charity that would help nurse injured wild birds of prey back to health and re-release them into the wild, which is really cool because you don't want them to know that a human being is helping them. So while they're injured and they're like coming back to health because some jerk kid shot a bird with a BB gun or something, and so you have to feed them with these little puppets using like mirrors so that you can see what's happening, but the bird can't. And so you have to feed like these giant lethal animals, like these little bits of flesh. And then when they're all healthy and ready to go, you get to put them in a box and drive them out to the middle of nowhere and release them into the wild. And it was a really cool experience to see these birds go from, the edge of death to be nursed back to health. And then, red-tailed hawks, red-shoulder hawks, kestrels. We even released a California condor one time, which is one of the most impressive. Massive, like 18-foot wingspans, which is like 3 Reimers in a row. Like that's impressive. It was a really cool experience. Sorry, go ahead.
I Googled Demon Hawk and all I came up with was a bunch of Jeep Demon Hawk vehicles. Like there's not a single bird on this Google search that's coming up under Demon Hawk, just so you know.
The Demon Hawk sounds like a band I would listen to, though.
Like a fun, like a Norwegian death metal band that you like. And it's funny, no, I didn't know that about you, and I've known you for 4 years. But the funny thing is, the only thing I really took away from your last monologue was you played with finger puppets.
Yeah.
That's what
I used finger puppets to carry pieces of dead carcas and feed them to pieces.
Oh,
of dead carcass.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Speaking of meat, let's get into the meat of this podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about our game against the Baltimore Blast. Now, the Baltimore Blast headed into Toyota Arena for the first time in franchise history. And that's so crazy considering the amount of times this team has traveled to Southern California in the past. But yeah, no doubt our guy Bill Norris, team statistician extraordinaire, gave us that info. First time the Blast were in town. Now, the last time these two teams clashed wasn't that long ago. It was a couple of weeks ago where the Blast beat the Empire Strikers 6-4 at CQ Arena. Despite the fact that the Strikers doubled up on shots, they still ended up losing. And as a result of that, the Strikers, though, are on a 3 out of 4 game winning streak. Blast, led by Lucas Roque, who we're going to talk about him quite a bit in a minute, on the verge of getting and going with that golden boot. He's there. This team's 3-1. No Van Zella on the trip, though. So I'm thinking in the booth, they're starting Mike Zierhofer, a guy who's, played quite well in college, having come up from club level to the varsity. But as Van Zella's understudy, he didn't get much burn. Like, Doc, what were your thoughts when we got the word early? I mean, we didn't actually get the word. We saw that there was no Van Zella. Like, what were your thoughts going into that?
Well, at first I was astonished because no one gave us any heads up whatsoever that Van Zella was not going to be there. We had reached out to the team and some people.
That's what we got.
No words.
The one thing about not doing this in beautiful Philomonster Studios in lovely Burbank, California is I cannot see when you're reaching to press one of the magic buttons now. I also feel like I had just gotten my own microphone and my own headsets and my own little TV tray. I was feeling very comfortable on the road in Burbank. Not that I don't love, the friendly confines of the doctor's house here in lovely Winnetka, California. It certainly, driving home from Burbank on a weeknight is I appreciate this new platform, but I feel like that was all taken from me there at the last minute. But
it doesn't have to be. We can all be in the house and we'll just film in different locations.
You can always,
but my bed is right there, and that is tempting. I'm not gonna lie, but with regards to Van Zella, we still haven't heard anything from the team as to why he didn't make the trip, which I think is very odd that they didn't say anything. But as far as Seehofer, he's a good keeper. I think it took him a little bit of time to get into the game. I think he made a couple errors early on that they frankly were lucky that the Strikers didn't capitalize on. And there were a few moments throughout the course of this game when there were balls kind of bumbling around right in front of the goal there that Blast were just lucky that we didn't put this one home. And I think at the end of the day, frankly, lucky to take home a point. And I think the rest of the team, especially the defense, really stepped up. Or I didn't really see a whole lot from Seehofer that would give me a whole lot of confidence if I'm a Blast fan with him sitting in for Vanzella. And no explanation as to what was up with Vanzella. I hope he's okay. I hope he's not sick and it's not a protocol thing. But Seehofer looked a little iffy to me. But by the fourth quarter, I think he was stepping it up much better.
Yeah, he certainly took a barraging of shots and came up quite successful against them. But I ended up hitting Bill. Bill's our oracle when it comes to a lot of things. And he went out of his way to contact the Blast. And he was just told that Vanzella was tired, a little beaten, not like mentally, but just like, just beaten up a little bit and just wanted the rest and relaxation. The idea of having to go cross country just was unnerving, and he didn't want to do it. I guess that's why he's not hurt or anything. So Blast fans, don't be afraid. You'll be seeing him quite soon. But that's the reason I got, and I didn't paraphrase it correctly. And I guess I wouldn't blame head coach Dave Bascome either for not bringing up that information, because certainly it changes up the strategy and it gives a team a little more bravado knowing that one of the best keepers in the Major Arena Soccer League is not going to be there in between the pipes. So if you get away with it, I mean, heck, I wouldn't have released and shown my hand either. I mean, that's not what a good poker player does.
And if they're going to take their chance with somebody, it's probably going to be a West Coast team anyways, and they're going to save their firepower for their East Coast trips and, in their bid to kind of, make those last few playoff pushes that they're going to need. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. And hey, they all need rest. And with this new goalkeeper rule, no doubt you want to try to get some more play with any of your backups, just so they're not literally coming in like stone cold, like no minutes all year, and then have to come in a championship game. And then, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you should appreciate this. When the Blast walked in, I don't exactly know where you were, but I was down by where the green room entrance was, and Seehofer walked by and he said hello, but it's funny how he did it. He was just like, doctor. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. Like, I love that. I wish you were there for that. It certainly put a smile on my face. I ended up chatting with him afterwards. Really nice young man, and I wish him all the best.
All right, let's get into this matchup. Let's go. We know what we got. What's going on?
Who draws first blood, Panda?
Oh, well, unfortunately, the Blast are going to draw first blood. 3:08 into the first quarter. Pereira, he's going to connect with none other than Roque, of course. Toth, he's out of the box. Roque slides it past Chris for first goal of the game. There was not a single defender out there on him. And I'm telling you, a guy like Roque, I don't know why they weren't just like, I mean, just like a mosquito all over him. And then they weren't. And of course, it's going to cost us. And we're going to go down early, unfortunately.
Doctor.
What? Hi. Was that the end of the game? Are we done?
Did we lose the doctor?
Great show, everyone. Strike hard.
Oh yeah.
Starts wearing purple.
Anyways.
Yeah, I think we had ourselves a bit of a Rutro Roque moment there early on.
You're not the best damn color man in the game for no reason, Doctor.
I really was astonished the space that Roque got throughout the first quarter. I think it was a little embarrassing defensively from the Strikers. Frankly, you could see Jimmy Nordberg was not happy. And when we finally went to that media timeout there in the first quarter, you could see him a bit apoplectic there on the sideline, pointing a few people out and discussing exactly what needed to happen defensively. And spoiler alert, it was an effective conversation, whatever Jimmy Nordberg had. But this early on in the game, it's not a great sign seeing Roque get off the schneid. Now, look, he's having the best season of his career in points per game. And I think what will statistically be the best season of his career by the time this season is over. He's averaging 2.5 points per game. So, at this point, he's given up one. That's somewhat inevitable, to quote producer Phil. I think what we need to do is make sure that he stays at 2 points or under throughout the course of this game. And that would be a successful move against him. But the rest of the first quarter certainly did not go according to plan.
No, it didn't go according to plan, but it didn't take long for us to get ourselves into the game. Of course, it's a little disheartening when the opposing team scores first. But We ended up capitalizing 3 minutes later. Adrian Perez, with a wide open look, manages to thread the netting, getting it past Zierhofer, and he gets assisted by Mo Ndiaye, who had 2 really big assists in this game. And hats off to Outdoor Perez. He did a nice job creating some space for himself and absolutely putting Patrick Thompson in his pocket. Threaded him lovely, gets the next goal of the game. And we're tied at 1 in the first quarter.
Love seeing Mo Ndiaye get the dime. He's playing a new role. He's playing a role that is completely unique and new to him. So for him to be able to be the facilitator and not the target forward, we know he has the physical ability to be a defender, right? He's a big, bulky guy. He can body up on somebody. That's what a target forward does. He knows exactly how to do it the other way around. But the distribution, the ability to feed players from a new position, this is the big question mark that I think many of us had about Jimmy Nordberg making this decision to move Mo to the back line. And here we are, first goal of the game. Mo's the distributor. Love it. Love what I'm seeing from him on the back line.
Yeah, it was a great move. And unfortunately, though, that tie wasn't going to last long. At the 8:37 mark, we're going to hear his name again. Roque, he's going to get assisted by Ferdinand off of a terrible turnover, unfortunately, by Topete. He was uncontested. No one in front of him again. And, of course, he's going to make that shot 10 out of 10 times. We are now at 2-1. Roque's got himself a brace.
I mean, yeah, it was a miscommunication. I mean, yeah, you said it. A terrible turnover, not one in which Topete is, going to do 10 out of 10 times. I mean, Johnny Topete, Johnny Thunder, is a much better defender than that turnover led to. But obviously, Ferdinand was there. Max Ferdinand, one of the great assist men in the MASL, connecting with wide open Lucas Roque. What are you going to do? There's nothing Toth could have done. You or I could have drilled that. And after watching us play on the turf at Toyota Arena before the game happened, I'm pretty confident that either of us could have made that wide open shot. But that wasn't the only goal Roque would have within this quarter. I mean, he scores again.
Our Rut-Row Roque redo became a Rut-Row Roque retake. So rewind it back. He comes again, this time assisted by Jonatas Mello. It comes right off a restart. It's really, I mean, it's a beautiful goal by Lucas. You have to say, I mean, these are the kind of goals that he has become a highlight reel machine for throughout the course of this. Nothing Chris Toth could do about it. First quarter hat trick. And at this point, I mean, I think all of us in the booth are just doing this like, this guy's gonna put up 5 tonight, right? I mean, that's embarrassing. Anytime a team can't adjust to a player and they go on a run, I mean, certainly 3 goals in the first quarter, you're thinking this guy's going to go on a tear throughout the rest of the game. But I think it was good at this point that Jimmy really had a moment with his defenders and really kind of had a little come to Jesus moment with all of them, where he was bodied up throughout the rest of the game. There was someone on Roque, and there was someone between him and the goal for the next 3 quarters. So it's great to see little coaching moments like that have some impact. I'm just astonished that it took a first quarter hat trick to get to that point.
Yeah, you don't see those very often. And, well, if there's anybody on the Blast team that could do it, it is Lucas Roque. You mentioned he was tearing us up. I mean, he had an ACL injury just a couple of years ago, and he's coming back, and he's coming back stronger than ever. Like, his numbers are impressive. You said it, his points per game are so high as compared to the rest of his career. And I do have a spoiler alert, though, for you, Doc and Panda. That would be the last time he finds the netting in this game. And instead of surpassing and leapfrogging over Ian Bennett to be the Golden Boot leader, he is now tied with him as the Golden Boot leader at 19. So that's the story. You'll get one more assist from Roque, but more on that later. But that's not
going from legendary goal scorers or people you expect to score a goal in virtually every game. The next goal of this game comes from someone you do not expect to score a goal in every game.
No, we do not. And thankfully, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Jimmy said, by the way, at the half, which led to some stuff.
Real quick, I stand corrected. 16 goals for Bennett, 16 goals for Roque. Thank you, Panda.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said 19. It's actually 16. I mean, I'm sure in a week we'll be saying 19 with either one of them. But either way, we'll talk about that half. But before the half,
she corrects me at home and on the podcast. This is great.
Thankfully, the 13-11 mark, Cisse, a name we do not get to say near enough right now, and I'm so happy we got to say it. He was assisted by Berto, and this was Cisse's best goal by far this season. He dropped in a beautiful dime, and the ball just missed by Manfoot, and he had a clear look at Zierhofer, and we are going to go into the half 3-2, which in indoor soccer, that's nothing.
Well, not into the half, into the
I mean,
second quarter.
We get to correct Panda. We
Oh
get
my
to
God.
correct Panda.
I corrected Panda. I corrected Panda. I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm sleeping on the couch.
You know, you guys were talking about, no more of this. I was already, listen, I just want to get into this.
She was feeling froggy, so she jumped a half.
Sorry.
So, we've talked a little bit about Berto bombs when Berto finds himself, a golazo. But I think in this case, we had a little Berto bump, right? The assist, him passing a little fist bump off to his boy Cisse. And I like how that is going to be a trend we are going to touch on later. But let's go ahead and advance the conversation.
Baby, Cisse 3 goals on the season already, guys. Like, this is great. The captain's riding a two-game at-home scoring streak. When was the last time that happened? You'd probably have to go back to the infancy of this team when we were formerly the Ontario Fury. But, man, love seeing the captain get on there.
As a captain, if you want your team to score and if you're doing it, they're just going to follow. That's what a true captain would do. I mean, he's not just saying to do it. He's showing you how to do it. So, again, like you said, we've got 5 goals in the first quarter alone and a hat trick.
Hat track? What's a hat track? Or a hat rack?
Wicka.
Oh. Wicka, wah, wah, wah.
God, you're going to make fun of everything I say tonight?
DJ Panda on the wheels of steel.
Anyway.
Billy's normally the one who has to at some point in time in the podcast, and yet he's caught us both on it so far. Let's go ahead and advance ourselves to the second quarter, and the newlywed gets himself in a little bit of trouble. But in this case, he's not sleeping on the couch. He's sleeping in the sin bin for 2 minutes. What happened with Gabriel Costa, guys?
Gabriel Costa got whistled for a smurf. 2 minutes for pushing, and it was pretty clear going back to that replay. No questions on that. It's just a shame that he got himself a smurf so quickly in the game. And while our power play, while our penalty kill has improved, what did that remind me? It reminded me of like one of those like weird, I don't know, some like Muppet kind of cartoon.
I think Gabriel Costa got caught, having a little salt and pepper move, right?
Dun, 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 dun.
You gotta push it real good.
Oh, I like what you. So he wasn't shooping.
No. Shoop-a-doop.
Shooping.
Wow.
Damn, that's my era too.
None of us
blow the dust off all these 90s references.
Now I really do sound like an old white boy. Anyway, all right. So 2 minutes in the bin of sin for the push, and as I mentioned, our penalty kill has improved this season, but it was exposed here because we had a power play goal at the 12-minute 47-second mark. Puts up the Blast 4-2. Melo, assisted by newly acquired Moises Gonzalez, who was a member of Utica City last season. And it was some great ball movement by the Blast to spread the Strikers' defense. And Melo Meg's toast to put the Blast up 4-3. And 5-hold, man. I mean, not a good thing there.
We got a lot of love in the chat for calling it the 5-hole, by the way. I think we've said that many times. I'm surprised. But you're right. Moises parted the Purple Sea and found Melo, who was able to part Toth his legs there. And yeah, there you go. 3-2.
Yep.
All right.
And that takes us where, Panda?
Oh, now we're at the half. Sorry.
Yeah.
The one goal I was like glazing over because it was stupid.
Well, I mean, that's a reason to glaze over a part of a podcast because it's stupid.
Anyways, I did get a chance to talk with Jimmy Court.
What? I'm just stretching.
I was like, what are you doing?
I'm stretching. I've been lifting. Can't you tell? Feel these biceps. They're yoked.
Stop.
I'm the one drinking water, FYI.
I don't know that anybody should see this, but anyways, I did get to talk to Jimmy Norberg at the half. It took him a little bit to come out. Usually I'm able to interview him right away, but he was definitely talking to his assistant coaches for quite a long time, and I didn't want to have him come over and talk. So I just walked with him out into the hallway and just asked him some questions. And then, of course, if you watched the game, you would have seen what I had to say, but I will tell you exactly how that went just so, I can refresh your memory. But I asked him what his thoughts were on the first half, and he just thought that the game was too slow. He thought that we were just not getting around on the ball quick enough. And I asked him if they were missing Frank, and of course he said, having a big guy up front like Frank Taillou is always a positive thing.
Of course, he said, of course. I am going to walk my.
You know what the best part about this is? Now the fans get to see the look, right? Because when Panda gives that look, like even I shrink back and I'm like, wait, I didn't do anything wrong. But like, it's like, oh, teacher's mad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Gabriel Costa needs to watch his show to take lessons what not to do.
Right.
Being married.
Don't correct your wife while she's speaking. That would be great. That'd be lesson number 1.
Insert this into this.
Anyways, we did.
Well, that's not going to go great on the podcast. Let's just say he picked up his foot and put it towards his mouth, folks. For those of you listening,
if you're not watching this, that's what happened. And
flexibility.
My last question was, of course, how do you shut down an offensive superpower like Roque? And he said, we've just got to stay on him. We've got to be on him. And I mean, that's something that they definitely were not in the beginning of this game. And clearly that is what worked. And that's what he took back to the locker room and told them. So they need to speed the game up. I mean, we both had 8 shots between the two teams. They managed to put 4 of theirs in the back of the net. So we needed to speed this game up, get around. We need to pepper the keeper. We've got a new keeper in goal. Why aren't we taking every shot that we can to kind of break him down? I mean, you've got a keeper who's not used to being there, who could be a little rattled, a little fresh, a little new. The more that you shoot at him, the more, he might get rattled. Like at some point, he's going to miss one. So,
that's analysis. This is amazing.
That's just
you're the best sideline reporter in the league for no reason. Way to go, pal. Way to go.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyways, that's what halftime looked like. And let's move on into the third quarter because it's gonna get fun. It's gonna get fun, guys. Are you ready?
Yeah. 51 seconds in. The newly married, the newlywed. All the best to you and Francesca, by the way. And that's Gabriel Costa, not any of you out there. Gabriel Costa catches an assist by Palmer. Palmer was definitely dishing dimes this time around. And, I mentioned earlier on that somebody got carved up. Nah, man, Melo got absolutely carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey on this play. I mean, Gabriel Costa broke his ankles, put him on ice skates, and absolutely threaded by him to get the strikers within striking distance. An amazing goal. But just like that, Doctor, the Blast punch back.
You're not wrong. Adam James. Bad giveaway, buddy. He's been really good at protecting the ball, especially against the press. I feel like he's been one of our best players in helping get the ball out of our defensive end when the press is coming down on him. But in this case, he gets the ball stripped away. It's Roque, who looks like he's dialing up number 4. He's got to look at goal. And I have to say, when you look at his score sheet, he's got a lot of goals. And I think coming into the game, he had 3 assists, and this marked his 4th assist of the season. Great to see unselfish play from a player who is, tearing it up right now. But he had a wide open man at the back post. He dishes the ball out. Juan Ferreira finds the other end of it, tucks it in, wide open look at net. Smart play, great indoor play, right? You get the steal, quick 2 passes, boom, find the open man. Again, the press has been effective against the strikers. Here is another classic example of that. And sadly, it was one of our players that we've really trusted to get the ball out of our defensive end who ended up coughing it up this time. But hey, that's indoor. It's going to happen. And we find ourselves back in a 1-goal game.
So if you look back at the past 3 quarters, because that's how the third quarter is essentially going to end with us being down 5-3. This game at this point really should have been only 3-3. We harken back to the first quarter on that second Roque goal. Johnny Topete, that was a bad turnover. That was a costly turnover. Boom, all of a sudden 1. You can attribute Gabriel Costa's 2-minute penalty as another mistake, but incidental, sometimes the run of play, that just happens. So we won't bring that in there. But then obviously the Adam James turnover, I mean, his pockets absolutely picked like the dude was walking in Times Square circa 1970 by a guy who did play his college ball at St. John's University, Jamie Thomas, by the way. But so that's 2 goals off of 2 costly turnovers. And that's something we certainly need to batten down the hatches on, because you make a mistake, that's fine. You get back there and you capitalize and you move forward and you learn from it. But in these kinds of games against these kinds of teams, especially against even better teams, such as the Sockers and the Mesquite Outlaws, we got to be better about not giving up the ball in our defensive third of the turf, because 2 costly goals. We're looking at a 3-3 game at this point rather than looking up a hill 5-3 heading into the 4th.
I think without Frank up top, you don't have a really tall forward to attempt to do the deep ball down into the corner. And we saw it kind of employed by Jimmy tactically a few times where he would send one of the taller defenders up to collect the long pass. We've seen Uzi go down in the corner and collect some of those long balls. We've seen some of the other bigger defenders do it as well too. But without a big target forward out on the field, Jimmy Nordberg is not one to send a ball long to one of the corners. And I think teams realize that when we have smaller forwards out and they catch our big guys back in the defensive end, that's when they tend to swarm on the press. And it's been really effective against the strikers because they will not play a ball deep to the corner just to concede possession. And as much as I might tactically agree that that's a smart thing to do at times, it does feel like there are certain times when we just need to slam the ball off a board and get it out of our end, even if it concedes possession. We suffer sometimes from painstakingly trying to play the ball out the back every single time when we don't have that big target forward to kick a ball to. But anyway, moving on.
Fourth quarter. Panda, what we got?
All right. So real quick, just to put in perspective, in the third quarter, we had 7 shots that we had taken, which, I mean, was almost as many as the first half alone. So clearly, Jimmy Norberg, told him to step up the game, told him to start shooting some more. And, we're going to see that worked at this point in the fourth quarter because it is now 5-3. So yeah, like I said, he's taken a peppering. He's made some great saves with some big shots by Mo and Justin Stenson, and it's really been all strikers since they about halfway through the third quarter after that goal in the fifth from Baltimore. So now we are 2 minutes and 30.
I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say goal in the fifth, but I'm gonna walk away now.
What?
Nothing.
What were you gonna say?
You said goal in the fifth.
5th minute.
Oh.
Oh,
I thought you were saying fifth
no,
quarter.
goal in the 5th minute when they scored. Jeez.
This is a
This
fun
is
attempt.
why
We're visual now, so
Oh my
people can
God.
see the beautiful dynamic that me and my beautiful wife have.
Anyways,
I say dumb things, she wants to kill me. Do you want to know why her wrist is hurt? Because all the time she me.
2 minutes and 32
Exposing her.
seconds into the fourth quarter, we are going to get a thunderous goal from the one and only Johnny Thunder. Berto's going to get his 3rd assist of the game. And Johnny, he was way outside of the yellow line, nearly close to midfield. He fired a missile. It was, I think, from the Death Star. I'm not sure. But
Lightning and the thunder.
oh my gosh, it was beautiful, and you just felt a lot of frustration from that shot. And we're now finding our score 5-4. We are 1 goal within tying this up, and we still got a lot of game to play.
Doctor, what did you miss on the goal call that you mentioned to me that you wanted to say? Now's your opportunity.
Oh, no, we're saving it. Sorry.
We're saving it? We're
No,
saving it.
I'm
We're not going
saving
to
it.
spoil it on episode 45 of Striking Fury with Philly Panda on the Dogger?
Nope,
Okay,
saving it.
fair enough.
Saving it.
Oh,
I'm
wow,
sorry,
so
putting that
stay
one back in the
tuned.
bag. Nope,
Well,
that club's
well,
going back in the bag.
We can't expose ourselves all completely just yet. All right, so
Such drama.
drama indeed. And
Oh.
drama's unfolding with Pereira being wide open, staring down Chris Toth on a counter. But Chris showing you why he's among the best damn keepers in this league. He absolutely stonewalls the heck out of Pereira and prevents the Blast from going up by 2. He was given the man of the match WWE style belt. And I would have to say it probably came from this sequence. We were there holding our breath. Pereira was so open, but the Iceman icing Pereira, keeping us into the game. And then Doctor, the most beautiful goal call happened slightly after that. Why don't you walk us through what happened at the 6:16 mark?
We talk so much about the Fury running themselves ragged during training. And one of the players who's constantly out sprinting everybody, Justin Stinson.
Did you say
What?
Fury?
Oh, Nikes. Hold up. Got to update the list. Doctor is now just $5 behind Philly. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is Philly's sound button to you.
Oh my God.
There you go, Ross Geller.
Sorry, I was like, wait, is he talking about a previous thing? And I
Nope.
had to wait till I called it
Nope.
out. I was like, wait.
No, that was good. Because had you not looked at me a couple of times, I might have missed that. So good job, Panda.
I was like, oh.
We're all here to kind of harp on each other, I've noticed.
All
It's
right.
kind of cool. Hey, it's the first episode a lot of people are going to get to see.
So what are we talking about? The strikers. Say that again, because I got distracted by the F word.
We got a turnover by Thomas. A great move by the revelation himself, Gabriel Costa. Finds himself some Justin Stinson. Stinson fires an absolute beaut past Ziyahoffa, and the game is all knotted up, and we got ourselves a brand new ball game, baby. 5-5.
Applause.
Oh,
He's not good with the buttons, guys.
you can press them at the same time. That's kind of cool.
Philly, you got to get better at finding the button, man.
He
It's
doesn't know
important.
where.
Hey.
Important.
Hey, well, I guess we're already above that PG-13
He
rating.
doesn't.
So,
He clearly doesn't know where to push.
whoa! Why you been married for me for so long? Married to me for so long.
It's okay. You take direction well. I told you where to go, and you were good. Cheers.
Good Lord.
All
I
right.
like this podcast.
Why don't we go ahead and head into overtime? Overtime.
Yay. All right. So let's talk about things for a second. Real quick, do we want to talk about this at the end? But I know there were some controversial calls prior to this game even ending when they took back, I think, a card from somebody. And I think that's important to note because there was a lot of frustration in the chat for what we're about to talk about. So does anybody want to highlight that little sequence that happened?
So the man who should get the assist on what's about to happen would be head coach Jimmy Norberg. We had a moment. We're actually going to show you that moment on the air. This is kind of cool. Panda's learning some cool production skill type stuff. We're going to show you that. There is a sequence in which Justin Stinson is chasing the ball down the turf. And, we don't want to necessarily call it incidental contact, but let's take a look at this. Ball comes in off of the boards. Stinson has it. Boom. We're looking at a shoulder check. I know they're playing in a hockey-sized arena, the Ontario Reign of the minor league of the Los Angeles Kings, but that shoulder bump right there, as aggressive as it was by Jamie Thomas, nearly went overlooked. Jimmy Norberg was fumigating. You can see the smoke come out of his ears from even way up in the booth. He throws out that challenge flag because he has the ability to have another one in overtime. And fortunately for us, a blue card gets issued to the Baltimore Blast. And now we find ourselves in a position of power utilizing a power play scenario. And thank God for that, Jimmy Norberg. Yes, Doc?
I was going to say, what predicated that foul? What was the play that the strikers were using that caused that foul to happen?
Is it something you were alluding to earlier on in the show?
It was a long ball to a forward in the corner. See,
there you go.
Listen to the doctor.
Look at the doctor. The doctor. You prescribe the remedy for the solution.
You listen to me, Dr. Jones. You live longer. Exactly.
Short round Dr. Boozology.
I love me some Indiana Jones. The trilogy that is Indiana Jones. I am a big fan of. Although I'm probably going to go see what I'm calling the fourth when it comes out because
oh hell yeah,
there was only 3 up until now. There was never anything after the third.
I had no problem with the Crystal Skull.
Really?
No, we're nostalgia. Not going. We're not derailing this train. Let's get through this game because it was so exciting, and we will talk about that in a moment. But anyways, you guys saw the foul that led to what would ultimately be given a blue card after they threw the challenge flag, and VAR said yes, that was a blue card. Which I don't know how they missed in the first place. I mean, he got whiplash from that hit, and I mean, I even saw the medical guy at the end of the game was standing out there and they were like, definitely check him out, because, just make sure he's okay. Like, make sure his neck is good. And, he didn't, have anything from that. And they knew that from just watching that. But
I mean, his head whips back violently. I mean, that is not simulation. His head goes straight back when he takes a shot right to the spine. It was ugly. It was ugly looking. I was astonished it didn't get a blue, and I wouldn't immediately. It certainly looked reckless. There was no play on the ball whatsoever. He goes straight into the spine. There's nothing shoulder to shoulder about it. I mean, even if Stinson collects that ball and is turning towards goal, and you hit him shoulder to shoulder, you're going to throw him straight into the boards there anyway. I mean, there's no way that amount of contact to any part of Stinson he's going to get away with it there. It was way too physical in the wrong part of the field. And I think a smart bit of tactics to get us into that position by Nordberg and the boys. And we ended up capitalizing on that power play, did we not?
Yeah, I mean, you do the crime, you do the time, and the man who capitalized it is the guy who was essentially punished to get that blue card. And we're talking about Justin Stinson. Sometimes you just got to piss off the man from St. Charles, Missouri. He's going to go out there and punish the hell out of you. So 1:48 into overtime, not very long at all. You've got Mo Ndiaye on the opposite side of the turf trying to thread it in, and Patrick Thompson's doing a really good job trying to deflect the ball out. In fact, at one point, it came off of Thompson back over to Ndiaye, and Ndiaye ends up slipping it past everybody, and Stinson is there to slot home the game winner, baby. That's should have been, yeah, he slots home the game winner. I mean, you're going to piss off Justin Stinson. He's going to go out there and he's going to punish you. The kid is one of the best midfielders, one of the best players in this freaking league, and showing why. Coming in, getting his team to the position of where they are in overtime, scoring the equalizer off the assist by Gabriel Costa, and then punishing the Baltimore Blast for punishing him and beating them in overtime. It was a thrilling game. On a roll, baby, winning 4 out of the last 5. And man, am I proud of these boys.
And one thing to note, I mean, there were only a few seconds left on that power play.
True.
So, without, that play happening, we go back up even, and, it's anybody's game given how the game had been going. But, man, it was beautiful. I was at the end of the arena down by the goal end.
You sure?
Huh?
I'm just kidding. Nothing.
Wow, guys.
Love you.
Seriously, what is wrong with you tonight?
It's love.
Anyways, it was amazing.
Don't hurt me no more.
Oh boy, I can't wait for this camera to be turned off, guys. It's gonna be great.
Well, if our armrest is in a cast, you'll know why.
Yeah, it won't bend when I hit you with it. Anyways, let's talk about how everyone did with this game, because what's weird? I just want to say, like, the way that the stars are given. How are stars given in a game? Can someone tell me that? Like, how do they calculate who gets the stars?
I have no problem with Justin Stinson getting the first star, being as he's the one that took the foul, scores the game-winning goal. I have no problem with Roque getting the second star. He had a 4-point game, fantastic first quarter, got himself his 4th dime of the season as well too. He's putting up MVP numbers. I got no problem with that. Look, I get it. Toth had a great game. There were some other people who have great games, but Bredran Berto, right after his birthday with 3 Berto bumps, I got no problem with Berto getting 3rd star either. I'm going to say I really don't have an issue with the stars given out this game.
I'm just curious how they get them. Like, what is it based on? I used to think it was based on points, and that's clearly not it. Is it just overall performance and importance to the game? Because yes, Stinson was absolutely integral in this win. Without him, we don't tie it up. Without him, we don't win it. And that makes sense. And Roque is the single reason that they stayed in this. So yeah, I don't disagree with how the stars are. I'm just reading these. I'm like, how did they come up with these? Because it's very interesting. I mean, it's like 2 of Stinson's goals should have been given probably 2 points apiece because of their importance alone. And then that basically makes, the points go up. So I don't know. It was just a question because I remember talking to somebody about this recently, and I was just wondering how they did it. But no, you're not wrong.
We brought it up on the last pod as well, too. I think we once again need some investigative reporting to find out how stars are issued. Although the last time we dropped that phrase on a broadcast, maybe that moment went down in infamy. But nonetheless, fantastic game. Fantastic game.
Yep. 4 out of the last 5. And we're sitting in a really nice spot heading into this weekend, which will be the transition, very smooth, by the way, to the next segment. And so that's our preview against Dallas.
Hold up. I have one other thing I want to talk about in this game before we move on.
Really?
To me, the win was fantastic. Love getting 2 points. I loved the fight the boys showed in this game, and everything that happened on the turf, fantastic. But something happened off the turf that I want to talk about, especially within regard to this game as well too. And that is number 99, right? Josh Strong, not something we were asked by anyone to talk about, not something that it didn't just resonate with us and in our hearts that it was something we needed to do. After seeing the experience that the Tayu brothers had and speaking to them about their experiences, meeting Josh, going and seeing him in the hospital, we'd sort of caught pieces of the story throughout the course of the early part of this season, but really, we hadn't done a deep dive with the Blast until they had come into town here. And it just is such a heart-wrenching story, this poor kid. And thank you, Panda, for throwing it down there on the lower third. There's the GoFundMe information for Josh Strong. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, it's GoFundMe.com/F/we-support Josh Strong. Please head to that GoFundMe. $5, cup of coffee, throw the kid a dime. Anything you can do to help this young man in his fight against aggressive bone cancer. 10-year-old kid already had to have a leg amputated. Anything you can do to help this kid out. And when I looked at the GoFundMe prior to our broadcast and after our broadcast, I was told that we raised close to $1,400 for Josh Strong in the GoFundMe. And, hats off.
Sorry.
We were trying to hit 3,000. We didn't hit the 3,000 mark, unfortunately, but we did, $1,400 is nothing small. And thank you to every single person in that chat. I know we're calling people out and doing what we can to try and raise a buck or two for this kid, but hats off to everybody who chipped in and dropped a dime, and please continue to do so. I know Philly, you and I, didn't have a chance at the arena the other day, but still need to throw a couple bucks his direction. And just a beautiful, beautiful thing that people did. So thank you to each and every one of you. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox.
No. That's if you're gonna be on a soapbox, that's the kind of soapbox you need to be on, because this is what makes this league great. The small communal environment where we're out there helping each other. So this is a good soapbox to be on. I do want to. I propose something to all three of you guys. You ready?
Fire away.
All right. You so kindly read what the tally was for utilizations of the F word in the beginning of this podcast. I pledge the following. Why don't each of us pledge what we've been penalized to this GoFundMe, and then we start over at zero? How's that sound? And then what happens again, maybe after a couple of weeks, this will be our charity. I say,
I'll tell you what, I'll round it up. I'll round it up to $50.
Okay. What? All right. So then, I'm a lot closer to 50 than you are. So does that mean I got to go ahead of you?
Actually, you're only $5 in front of me after my F-bomb on today's episode.
All right. So I'll pledge 50. You pledge 50, and Panda will pledge.
I'll pledge 50. It's
all right.
fine.
There you go. See,
I'll pledge 50.
It's $150 we're raising.
Absolutely. I spent that at Starbucks in a week whenever I was working at Cedars, and I'm on leave right now.
Keurig K-cups.
I know, but that Starbucks is great.
Starbucks
but no,
coffee. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Starbucks coffee does not taste good. It's not.
I like coffee. Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
You are obsessed with Dunkin' Donuts. I have never met a person in my life who loved Dunkin' Donuts as much as you do. Is this a Queens thing? Like, does the West Side just not know about Dunkin'?
I mean, it's an East Coast thing. I mean, I think they're headquartered out of Rhode Island.
I didn't know much about it till I ended up in Connecticut, New York, and then I don't know. I like it because I feel like the coffee is as good as Starbucks, but cheaper. So that makes it better in my eyes. But either way, thank you to everyone who donated. Such an exciting thing to be a part of, and so happy to see the community come together. I know my mom even donated.
She did,
I saw her on there. I didn't even know that. She didn't even tell me she did, but she did because she was watching the game, of course, if you watched, and gave her a shout out. But
yeah.
Well,
anyway,
Josh, if you hear this, I wish I had more money to give you, my friend. But we are going to do what we can. And for all of you out there, please, once again, GoFundMe.com/F/we-support Josh Strong.
Yep,
please,
absolutely.
folks, get out there and do what you can. All right, now we can move. Now we can move.
If you didn't hear all that, just go to our video and give us another view and look for it there.
Hey, that works. That works too. Or the social media. I know we posted on there. So real quick before we let you go, we're going into this Friday and Sunday.
My favorite F word.
Yeah, everybody's favorite F word. We're going to go play Dallas, the Sidekicks, a team that's currently sitting in last place in the West. But I'm thinking that Ricardinho might be turning things around because they did manage to get a point courtesy of the overtime loss to Mesquite. But a couple of things to be very aware of. Alberto Rodriguez, their leading scorer, is out. He's going to be serving a 1-game suspension issued for an R1 violent conduct red card that he had against Mesquite. So he's serving his suspension on the 20th.
This is a big deal. This is a big deal.
This is deal. That's the guy who's punching in goals like none other. He's their leading scorer, and the guy's a rookie. I mean, he's not aged like a rookie, but he's certainly a rookie. I don't know if he's going to take the trip, but he is sitting out the Friday game.
I would expect to see him on the Sunday game. I don't think you leave your rookie of the year contender, the one person right now who's really pushing on Gabriel Costa, the only person double digit in goals, the only person double digit in points on this entire Dallas roster. I mean, this is a massive advantage to the Strikers. I think this gives us a massive leg up in Friday's matchup. Let's be honest, the 6 points this weekend are almost crucial to the Strikers in their looks in the Western Conference. Having played more games than every other team in the West, sitting mid-table is not where we need to be right now. This team should be sitting top of the West, given as many games as they've played. And the schedule gets brutal throughout the end of the season for the Strikers. So these are both must-win games for the Strikers. And I know that's got to hurt to hear if you're a Dallas fan when you still haven't got your first win of the season. You know, they've played like 10 games and have 1 point, 8 games, 1 point. I think they're 0-7-1, if memory serves correct, 8 games.
And what sucks is their record's not as bad as they are. I mean, they've had some really close games, and they've had some blowouts.
Not as bad as they are.
I'll correct you there and say that we both get a pass.
So they are not as bad as their record. Stop it.
Feeling fine with wine.
Fired. Shots
I
fired.
had 2 margaritas before this podcast.
Yeah, sure. Blame it on tequila.
No, their record looks worse than they actually are. They've had some really close games. I mean, they've also had some bad ones, but they have had some that were very close. So, I mean, they're not a team that we should just look at as an automatic win, is kind of where I'm going with my misspokenness. But
look, they're in a really difficult situation. They lost a significant portion of their roster and a lot of talent to Mesquite. They're playing a lot of rookies. It's a rebuild year for Dallas, and I feel like we've been saying that a few years in a row now for them, unfortunately. Last year was another one of those years in which they had to scrap the plan 3 games into the season, go with a different coach, go in a different direction. And
it worked, though. They made the playoffs.
They pulled it together with a late charge last season. We saw Chihuahua last year start off losing their first 6 games, I think it was.
Players.
So, I don't think this is the Dallas roster we're going to see at the end of the season. And I don't think this is the form from Dallas we're going to see at the end of the season. But I think we're all hoping that the form does not pick up this weekend.
No.
Well, I mean, again, they're coming out here and they're making it a little easier for us.
They are making it a little easier, essentially. And they're also going to be without their assistant coach, Fabio, who, let's put it this way. He got a 1-game suspension for abusive language and conduct. So he's not going to be coming. He's definitely not making the trip. Maybe he is.
It's okay, Philly. You're almost about to get a 1-night suspension for abusive language. You will be serving it on the couch, is what I think is going to happen.
There's nothing abusive. It was conducive to humor rather than, well, no, maybe not to my well-being. But anyway, look, Dallas still has players to watch. Let's just put it that way. Gustavo Piedra is one of their better players. He was the only goal scorer when they went down to Chihuahua. He looks good. Obviously, you got the legendary Jamie Lovegrove, a player who I enjoy watching. Vic Moraligwe has had success with us in the past as a member of the Florida Tropics.
Can I just say how that must stink to go from Florida, who's at the top of the table, to Dallas, who's at the bottom of the table, and for such a good player. I'm sorry, but
yeah, and Florida hasn't even gotten Mike Jones in a game yet. So at the end of the day, I don't know. But here's the deal: Vic Moraligwe.
Don't feel too bad for Vic Moore. He's going back home, right?
He's going back home. That's exactly what I was getting at. So you still got him. You still got Romero, and you still got a really good keeper in that Juan Gamboa, who just recently celebrated his 100th game as a keeper for the Sidekicks. So not a team to sleep on. I look
Flavio Guzman, someone
on our winning streak.
Oh, Guzman is someone you haven't mentioned as well too.
Flavio Guzman, yeah, he's another good player to watch out for. They signed a bunch of rookies. Isai Romero. They signed Ethan Soto. They've got a bunch of players that they. I don't know. They've got a lot of players on their active roster. We don't know who's coming. We had to do a lot of research on pretty much all of them, I think they're looking at double digits in terms of rookies on that entire roster. So
All right.
Yeah,
we'll find out who's
Valadez
coming.
is pretty good. Torquato is another one that's pretty good as well, too.
Valadez had a really interesting career. And obviously you got Cameron Brown. Cameron Brown, I kind of have a little bone to pick with him because in 2011, as a member of the North Carolina Tar Heels, he beat my Indiana Hoosiers in the quarterfinals. So I have to have a talking with him. And he scored his first goal of the season this past week against Mesquite. So he's certainly feeling confident. But that's the story. That's who we're playing. We're playing Dallas on Friday and Sunday. And it's going to be a charitable evening. A charitable evening. We have a jersey auction Friday night in Panda since it's Military Appreciation Night. And since you're the one who spent 15 years in the military, why don't you tell everybody out there watching and or listening what the story is for this and tell us a little bit about who was the designer.
All right. So Friday is going to be Military Appreciation Night at Toyota Arena. So they're going to be auctioning off player jerseys at the conclusion of the game. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can actually get a little bit of a view, or if you can go to our Instagram as well and see what these jerseys look like. But you're going to be able to bid on these, and you can do this online. You don't have to be at the game. You can do it remotely. One of them is going to be through Live Source. The other will be through, I think it's Gift Smart, or you can text the Strikers auction to 76278. Now, this is fun because I don't know. Well, Philly, you've kind of have a little bit more experience with jerseys on Live Source. You recently were able to acquire or procure one, weren't you?
Well, ones that I'll admit to you. Anyway, all right, yeah. The Live Source app is an app that I first picked up on during the MASL All-Star game a couple of years ago, before the start of the 2021 COVID season. They were auctioning off the All-Star games, and I managed to get myself a Charlie Gonzalez one. And then I utilized Live Source recently as well when the Harrisburg Heat did their ugly Christmas sweater auction. So this is a really good app. You could download it for free, and it's easy. On the upper left, you're going to see a thing that says events. You pick the location, which in this case is Ontario, California. There is one thing I do want to note. If you follow us on social media, go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. There's a rendering of the actual jersey there. What you see on the app, it looks like a sleeveless, like Cincinnati Reds, Ken Griffey Jr. late style jersey without the sleeves. That's not it. There was some weird setting in Live Source that didn't take it. So the team's going to redo the pictures. But they're auctioning off the jerseys at the conclusion of the game. So go to Live Source, take a look. That'll be the story for game one. But really quickly, Military Appreciation Night. We just want to give a nod out to our friend Malcolm May, who designed these in Panda. Why don't you just tell Malcolm real quick? Not Malcolm.
I'm not going to tell him. He knows what he did.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody real quick about Malcolm, who he is, and why and the charities that the donations are going to.
All right. So yeah, the jerseys, they were designed by, like he said, by combat veteran Malcolm May. He's a 2-time combat veteran, tours in Panama and Mogadishu, Somalia. The whole of combat, man, it took a lot from him, and someone who's been in combat. And thankfully, I didn't have a lot that came out of it that, was negative, but I certainly have a lot of friends. I have a lot of really close, comrades that I know who have suffered greatly. Some of them have suffered, the ultimate price, unfortunately, and have succumbed to, the stressors of PTSD. And, yeah, I mean, this guy, he ended up 100% PTSD rating from the VA, which is obviously the most that you can get. So, I mean, a big old shout out to him for being able to put this together for us. He took his love for soccer and his desire to help other veterans, and he designed Free All My Ninjas soccer jersey. So the proceeds from the auction sales, they're going to be going to 2 charities. One is Stop Soldier Suicide and Saratoga Warhorse. Now, Malcolm, he benefited personally from both organizations, and he really wanted to do this so that he was able to give back to them. So, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, and it's such a cool jersey. It's so much
sick.
fun. Like, yeah.
I already bid on one. I'm not going to tell you who. It's sick.
Who'd you bid on?
I'm not going to. Well, I mean, if you want to.
No,
I
don't care.
Up the bid, I could talk to you in private, but I don't.
I know who Philly's bid on.
Oh, yeah? Striker.
Yeah, I do.
Striker.
You're right. It's got to be Stryker.
I don't even know. Anyways, yes.
I love the whole program. I grew up in a military household. Both my grandfathers served. My grandfather on one side was a major in the Marine Corps, was a lifer, ended up being the game warden down at Camp Pendleton. And I had some really cool experiences as a kid getting to go on base with him. My other grandfather was one of the original frogmen as well, too. So, certainly grew up with that on both sides. I had an uncle who served in Vietnam and suffered greatly throughout the rest of his life from the experiences that he had while he was in Vietnam. This is such a noble cause. Working in the adult beverage industry in my hometown of San Clemente, working at bars, half the people in those bars are Marines from Pendleton. And I cannot tell you how many stories I heard that are just bone chilling. And so many of the things that these young men and women had to deal with while they were overseas. It's intense beyond any level that anyone who hasn't been there could ever speak to. And anything we can do to help curb the rate at which PTSD is currently affecting these people once they get back is just a noble cause. And so, if you don't get a chance to make it out to Toyota Arena, would hope that you're all there. Would love to see you there. But if you can't make it out, we would love to see you guys bid on these jerseys and see them go for a healthy sum. I have to say the pictures that are on the screen right now really do not do them justice.
No.
And having seen them, that they look much, much better than this.
So
And the
much
money
better.
is going to as noble a cause as one could possibly think.
The one jersey looks like a rugby jersey.
Yeah, it does. It looks like I'm like the Essendon Bombers. But no, again, I've seen them up close. They're really cool. That's the Friday. Sunday, it happens to be Star Wars night at Toyota Arena, where we might see a Pandalorian sighting. That's what I'm pushing for. There might be a Darth Philly or a Grand Moff Doctor. I don't know. There's going to be characters that you might see on the air. Anyways, there's going to be a jersey auction there as well. That's not going to be through Live Source. That's going to be available through Gift Smart. And you can find that all on the Empire Strikers webpage. The proceeds for that are going to go through the Hope for Housing Foundation, which is a foundation that's near and dear to our owner, Jeff Burham. I mean, Hope for Housing is an organization that's been around since 98, and they're there to provide affordable housing for people at all income levels. So obviously, California being the expensive place that it is, this is an organization that helps put people in homes. It's a very great organization, very near and dear to all of our hearts. So that's where the proceeds for the Sunday Star Wars night are going on these jerseys. And to top that all off, it's $5 beer on Friday and Sunday from Rowdy's. And oh, by the way, at Rowdy's in Rancho Cucamonga from 6 to 9 after the Dallas Sidekicks game, it's an after party. You're going to get to hang out with Philly. You're going to get to hang out with Panda. You're going to get to hang out with the doctor. And, of course, you're going to get to hang out with the players as well. So Rancho Cucamonga, Rowdy's Brewing, you could practically walk there. I wouldn't, from Toyota Arena, but hang out with us after the conclusion of the game, and it'll be fun. And that's all the time I've got. That's all the voice I've got. Do you guys have anything before we close things off?
That's a healthy walk. So Friday we're doing Rowdy's after the game. All right, yeah, good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, they're
Sunday.
having
Heads up.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Well, $5 beers from Rowdy's on Friday and Sunday. After party at Rowdy's on Sunday.
After party Sunday. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Great. Monday morning's gonna
It'll
be
be
fantastic. All right.
yeah, the 6 to 9 will make more sense on Sunday because it doesn't make much sense on Friday.
Yeah, well, the game's at 7 on Friday. The game's at 5 on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So
by the way, if you're a veteran, active, military as well, you get in for free on Friday. I just wanted to make sure that you were all aware. You were all well aware of that.
Do stormtroopers get in free on Sunday?
I mean, if they look like you, yes.
Speaking of looking like me, I have something I would like to say.
Oh, no. Pixie dust.
This is the section I would like to call pontificating with Panda. No, all I want to say is I love all of you people that get onto chats in the Twitch little thing, and 99% of all of you are incredible and amazing, and I love all of you. I love talking to both of you. Be kind. That's all I'm gonna say. I most of you came to my defense in a comment that was recently said, and I won't even mention it because it's not worth mentioning because it was just out of I don't know where this came from, but either way, let's all just be kind to one another. We're all watching this sport that is so much fun and having such a good time, and you can boo the calls and like throw your hands up when something happens. I get that, but let's just be nice to one another. There's no reason to attack me.
Yeah. You attack my wife, I'm going to crack your skull. Enough
No,
said.
no. I don't know. I'm very sensitive, guys. I know I look like a strong, independent woman who's fought a tour in Iraq and, have done some crazy things. But, yeah, I get my feelings hurt.
Panda, I think we're not going to go into that, but you're beautiful in my eyes, in everybody's eyes, and I love you. Thank you for staying strong and not going crazy, and thanks for not letting me know about this because I might have lost my job screaming profanities and
It's
threatening
fine.
to hurt somebody.
It's all
on
good.
Twitch.
Like I said, it's fine. Just if it's something you wouldn't say to someone directly to their face, if you walked up to them, then maybe take a moment and delete your comment and go, never mind. It's okay. It's fine to think the things you think, but once you put them out there, they're out there forever because I can get on the Twitch chat right now and it's right there because that's what I did earlier when I was doing research. I was like, oh, I didn't want to see it again, but let's just be nice to one another. How about that?
Yeah, we will find you and we will.
It costs
kill
nothing
you.
to
I'm
be
just kidding. We won't
kind.
kill you.
Be nice.
The Dalai Lama once said the greatest thing a human being can be is kind.
Yes. It costs you nothing to be kind. So let's just be kind. That's all I'm going to say. And I may still pop in the chats from time to time, but I'm probably going to just focus on the game a little more from time to time because I don't need some of that negativity in my life.
Which is why I don't like looking at it either.
Anyway. And shouts to the chat mods.
Yes, they have a hard
Appreciate
job and they definitely did delete some comments and somebody got very upset about it, but it was definitely they didn't delete my comment, which is fine, but they were really saying some horrible things about the officiating and the mods did delete it and good on them. That's what they're there for and yeah, let's just be nice. How about that? Let's have fun, let's enjoy a game together and yeah. That's all I really have to say. I didn't want to go on a tangent, but I did want to.
Thank you for sharing.
I did want to say something, and that's my. That's
haters gonna hate, Panda. You're amazing, and we love you for everything you do. You're the best damn sideline reporter we could ever ask for, and
certainly the best looking out of the three of us too.
Can someone just get me better lighting? That's all I ask.
There, we'll bring that thing.
Can we have better lighting? Because clearly it's not doing me any justice.
You're a babe. To quote Wayne's World, if you were president, you'd be
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
In France, they would call her Le Renard and hunt her with only her cunning to defend her.
Oh my God. You know what I've been thinking about this whole podcast?
Wayne's World?
Is how awful this exit thing that we do that we can't do in person is going to be.
Oh, yeah. The frustrating looks we give each other. I think we're going to be successful at this point. Who starts?
I go first.
Okay.
Billy second. Yeah. Panda closes. You ready?
Okay, this is all before John talks, and then we start wearing purple, right?
We're done, guys.
Wearing purple.
Wearing purple. Da, 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 da.
Wearing purple for me now. Your sanity and the wits, they will all vanish. I promise. It's just a matter of time. Oh, yeah. Let's just shout it out real quick. Oh, look at that.
Jonathan pulled out.
Gypsy Punks.
Jonathan pulled out his record.
He pulled out his Go-Go Bordello.
He pulled out his record.
No, that's cool. That's, in case you're wondering, that's the name of the band that sings that song we're playing. And that was the influence. And that's Jonathan, one of Jonathan's favorite bands. A Ukrainian punk rock gypsy band from New York. Go figure.
I love it.
I love it, though. We got somebody, our buddies over at Keeper's Corner. They were thinking about wearing purple. That's right. That's right.
We got we got a shout out online from someone who ran into somebody who was rocking a purple snow outfit, and the first thing that came to mind was New York gypsy punk sensation Go-Go Bordello's epic track "Start Wearing Purple." So
then we've done our job.
Shouts out, Go-Go Bordello have done a bunch of charity concerts for Ukraine. They have an album coming out that's going to be a portion of the proceeds donated to Ukraine as well too. So whoa, we just like extreme close up. All right.
Sorry, I was getting rid of something and it
trying to get rid of us, dude.
I knocked over my guitar and all of that as well too. I hope my guitar's okay.
We need to get to bed. We have a long day tomorrow.
Yep.
It's gonna be Friday, game day.
My poor guitar's over here. Look at there's my baby. Oh, isn't she beautiful?
Wow,
she's so dusty.
She's so beautiful.
I love that there's people that can't see this that are just hearing that part.
All right, can we strike stuff now?
Strike hard.
Defend the empire.
No mercy.
End recording. End recording again.
And